Hello, I'm Jonasz Rewiński and this is Military Mind. Armed conflicts, defense and security, land, sea and air. We've got you covered. Overnight, according to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, Russia carried out a massive assault, launching more than 300 drones and 37 missiles across multiple regions of Ukraine. In his statement, Zelensky said that this autumn, Russia has used every single day to strike at Ukraine's energy infrastructure. Authorities in the northern Ukrainian region of Chernihiv reported that in the city of Nizhyn, a logistics facility and a residential apartment building were damaged. Local officials said drones struck a Nova Poshta postal terminal and hit a nearby apartment block twice. According to preliminary reports, 3 people were injured. In the Poltava region, Russian forces targeted Ukraine's energy sector, temporarily halting operations at local gas production sites. Power supply was also disrupted overnight in several cities, including the capital, Kiev, following the large-scale attacks. Overnight, Russia also came under drone strikes. In the Volgograd and Voronezh regions, several settlements were left without power. The governor of Volgograd said falling drone debris caused a fire at a local power substation. Meanwhile, in Saratov, multiple explosions were reported, and the local airport temporarily suspended operations, according to Russia's aviation authority. Ukrainian monitoring channels cited residents claiming that a fire broke out at the Saratov oil refinery, which produces about 2.5% of Russia's total crude, more than 7 million tons per year. On the front line, Ukrainian reports note that small groups of Russian infantry are attempting to advance towards Konstantinivka from the Chasiv Yar direction. Ukrainian military sources describe these attacks as disorganized, saying Russian troops have only managed to cross parts of the contact line due to a shortage of Ukrainian infantry. Analysts say a major breakthrough in this sector is not expected soon. Turning now to the Pakistan and Afghanistan border, where after several days of intense cross-border clashes, they have reached a temporary ceasefire agreement. On Wednesday, the two countries agreed to a 48-hour ceasefire following a sharp escalation in border violence. According to Pakistan's foreign ministry, both sides have committed to halting hostilities as tensions soared along the 1,600-kilometer border. The confrontation flared after Islamabad demanded that Afghanistan's Taliban administration rein in militants allegedly launching attacks on Pakistan from Afghan territory. The Taliban denied the accusations, instead blaming Pakistan's military for provoking clashes and harboring ISIS-linked fighters. The truce comes after intense fighting earlier the same day. Pakistani forces carried out airstrikes in Afghanistan's Kandahar province, hitting the border town of Spin Boldak. Pakistan claimed the target was a Taliban brigade and said that dozens were killed, though it provided no evidence. Later, Pakistani aircraft reportedly struck Kabul as well. The city's emergency surgical center said it received 40 wounded and confirmed 5 deaths following the strikes. On the battlefield, it's not only strength that wins, but also quick reaction time and keeping a cool head. Operators from the 5th Separate Assault Brigade demonstrated impeccable skill, destroying enemy FPV drones before they even took off. Now, we've already talked about Russia's new tactic of having drones lie in waiting near a road until a victim appears, though this time the targets decided to fight back. The 5th Assault Brigade continues to prove that Ukrainian soldiers are not only skilled fighters, but also have the ability to quickly adapt to changes in technology, destroying threats before they can even take off. Now, you might be wondering, what does the word żdun actually mean? Well, that is a word that essentially means the one who waits. And before being used to describe drones that are lying in wait for the victims, that word had a different meaning as well. It was a reference to former Soviet citizens of Ukraine who allegedly were waiting for the Russians to arrive. In fact, Russia was actually counting on that kind of response. It was expecting lots of these people to come up and say, well, we've been waiting for you. We cannot wait to become a part of the Russian Empire. However, Ukrainian society has changed a lot, and there were not many of those who waited for the Russians to come. In fact, hardly anyone did. Now, we're going to be moving on to our next story. In the Kupiansk region, soldiers of the Burevy Brigade continue to demonstrate effectiveness and professionalism in the fight against Russian occupation forces. During combat operations, the brigade's units destroyed Russian manpower, eliminated reconnaissance and strike drones, and covered enemy firing positions with accurate strikes. In addition to that, Ukrainian defenders destroyed equipment and ammunition depots, putting communications equipment out of service, which significantly complicated Russian operations on the front line. The Burevy Brigade continues to keep up the pace and leaves the enemy no chance for respite. Now, many of you might already know this, but let's do a military jargon lesson number 2. These numbers that you've seen on the screen, 200, 300, this is not the number of people that were hiding in those bushes, obviously. It's a code. It's a Russian code for casualties. 300 means that a soldier was injured. 200 means that he was eliminated for eternity, so to say. And of course, these codes are also commonly used in Ukraine to denote Russian losses. Now, moving on to our next story today. The Russian army has once again demonstrated its true nature by launching a drone strike on a convoy of World Food Programme trucks carrying humanitarian aid to residents of the Bielozerka community in the Kherson region. Footage published by the Russian occupiers themselves shows that the drone operator clearly saw the humanitarian mission's markings, but deliberately struck anyway, violating all norms of international humanitarian law. This attack is further proof that the Russian army is deliberately targeting civilians, killing those who try to help victims of the war. Every such crime must be recorded and not be forgotten. All those involved in the attacks, from drone operators to their commanders and political leaders, will sooner or later face international justice.
Вот все, пришел. Один машина, два машины, вот. О, я хорить. У меня так, да, там полный. Вот все, один и два машины. Смотри. И самолетом маленький, пивишка, дроном, чем хочешь, они ударили. Вот. Все.
And with this, we conclude this edition of Military Mind. Please stay with us here on TVP World for more latest news and updates.